The Heart of Kindness. Story will shock you. A mechanic risks everything to fix a failing ambulance, only to discover the patient is the CEO of a massive car company. What happens next changes all their lives forever. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from. Let's get started. Old single father and janitor swept the wooden floors of the old textile mill. The year was 1883, and life offered him little, apart from long hours, rough hands, and the smile of his 7-year-old daughter Elsie, who clung to him like a small ray of warmth in a cold world. Most knew Thomas as quiet, respectful, and impossibly patient, but they never wondered why his eyes held the alertness of a man prepared for danger. Elsie ran through the mill, her small boots tapping lightly as she carried her father a cloth he'd forgotten. She adored helping him, even though the mill workers often whispered about the janitor's wild child, as if her energy were a flaw. Thomas lifted her gently, brushing dust from her cheeks, promising her they would go to the creek later as a treat. It was the only joy they could afford. As evening shadows stretched long, Thomas walked home with Elsie on the path that cut through the woods behind the mill. The air carried a chill, the kind that suggested mischief lingered somewhere unseen. Thomas sensed footsteps before he heard them, a skill from the, if he no longer spoke of, before the mill, before fatherhood, before he promised Elsie's dying mother he would leave violence behind. 3 men stepped from the trees, rough coats, greedy eyes. 2 were around 35, the third older but broader. Thomas recognized their type. Outlaws drifting between towns, hunting easy coin. They watched Elsie the way wolves studied a lamb. She tightened her grip on his coat, whispering, "Daddy, please stop them." The leader demanded Thomas hand over his earnings and the girl. Thomas replied calmly, offering the money, but stepping in front of Elsie like a wall. The men laughed, underestimating him as they saw only a janitor armed with a broom handle. But violence, once mastered, does not vanish. It only waits. When the first man lunged, Thomas moved faster than the attackers expected, deflecting and striking with measured force. Years of buried training resurfaced with terrifying precision. The second man reached for Elsie, but Thomas dropped him with a sweeping blow before he got close. The third charged with a knife, yet Thomas disarmed him, pinned him to the dirt, and ended the fight without taking a life. The men fled, limping into the darkness, swearing they'd return with reinforcements. Thomas held Elsie, her small heart shaking against his chest. "You're safe," he whispered, though he knew safety was fragile. Rumors spread swiftly in small towns, and the wrong ears might hear of a mysterious janitor beating 3 armed men. He hoped the night would swallow the story, but fate was already moving. At dawn, the mill workers gathered in clusters, gossiping about the fight. Thomas entered quietly, hoping to slip back into invisibility, but whispers trailed him. A woman named Clara, 35, and a widow who often brought soup to Elsie, looked at him differently, as if seeing a stranger wearing the face of a familiar friend. She approached him, worried, reminding him that outlaws carried grudges deeper than winter frost. Thomas worked through the morning, sweeping, repairing, carrying sacks, while Elsie waited in a small corner with her wooden toys. The mill owner barely greeted him, though he watched Thomas with suspicion, sensing a story he hadn't yet uncovered. Thomas kept his head down, wanting only peace. By late morning, the ground outside trembled. Hooves, dozens, a deep rumbling like thunder rolling through the valley. Workers rushed to the windows as a black motor carriage, an early prototype owned only by the wealthiest, rolled into the yard, surrounded by a full cavalry escort. Flags fluttered from polished lances. The town had never seen anything like it. A hush fell as the carriage door opened and a man stepped out. Broad-shouldered, dressed in dark formal wear, scars tracing his knuckles like old maps. He was 35, but carried the weariness of a soldier who had fought too many battles. Behind him emerged another officer of similar age and a woman of 35 with sharp eyes and a notebook. Their presence radiated authority. The workers bowed instinctively. The man introduced himself as Major Rowan Calder, commander of a national security division tasked with tracking dangerous fugitives. He looked directly at Thomas as if he had been searching for him for years. The air thickened. Elsie hid behind her father, gripping his sleeve tightly. Major Rowan explained that 3 outlaws had been captured in a nearby village at dawn, bruised and terrified, claiming a devil-strong janitor had taken them down. Their description matched Thomas perfectly. Instead of accusing him, the major requested his help. The outlaws belonged to a notorious gang responsible for terrorizing trade routes, and Rowan needed someone with Thomas's abilities Thomas had hidden since the day he became a father. Thomas refused at first. He had promised never to return to violence. But then the major revealed what the bandits had confessed. They planned to kidnap Elsie to force Thomas into service. They had already spread word to their gang. Staying silent would not keep Elsie safe now. Protecting his daughter meant confronting what he feared becoming. Clara approached, urging Thomas to think carefully. She knew what Elsie meant to him and how dangerous the world could be. Thomas looked at his daughter's trembling face, then at the major, and then at the future he wanted to secure for her. He agreed, but only under one condition, that Elsie and the mill workers would be protected while he assisted. The major accepted, promising full guard around the mill until the gang was eliminated. He also revealed something that shook Thomas. He had once served with Thomas long ago, before Thomas vanished from military records. He knew Thomas's skill was unmatched, and that no one else could dismantle the gang as cleanly. Thomas traveled with the motorcade. Elsie held safely in Clara's arms as she watched him ride away. The escort marched through the valley, toward the mountains where the gang hid. Thomas carried no fear, only purpose. He had tried to bury his past, but fate had returned with demands he could not ignore. By dusk, as lanterns flickered against the trees, Thomas realized something profound. He had not failed by hiding from violence. He had simply waited for a moment worthy of breaking his oath. And now, fighting was not for glory or duty, it was for Elsie's future. He moved into the darkness ahead of the soldiers, the woods swallowing his silhouette. The men behind him whispered that he walked like a legend, but Thomas walked like a father, determined that no shadow, no outlaw, no ghost of his past would ever touch the child who had saved his soul. The town of Hollow Ridge curled under a gray dawn sky as Thomas Hale, a 36-year-old